Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today's topic is going to be Black Republican Trump supporters. We've been hearing a lot about Latinos regretting their vote for Donald Trump. We haven't been hearing from or anything about the Black Republicans who supported Trump over their sister, Kamala Harris. I'm going to play a clip here, and I'll give you a little commentary after this clip. Prepare yourself because I think it's really going to irritate you, and it's already got me irritated. So let's hear what they have to say. These Black Trump supporters right here.
And let me start with the women here about Kamala Harris.
She's a woman of color. I'm not putting her down because of that, and I'm not putting her down because she's a woman. I'm not a feminist, so I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, I don't think that she has the personality. I don't think that she has what it takes to go up against Putin and go up against these other presidents that are built for this. I don't want to be scared because my president is scared. I want my president to feel secure and manly and about it.
We brought up gender, right? Like, do you think it matters that she's a woman and people aren't comfortable having a woman in a top leadership role?
No, I don't think that, because most men, they love their mothers. They love their wives. So as a woman, most men, they respect the woman, but she just don't have the qualification or the education to really run America because she don't have the experience. She don't understand our struggles. And for me to believe you for another 4 years, you're crazy.
Right.
Like, you're crazy. You're saying the same thing that you said 4 years ago.
So the fact that she's the vice president
That's
to
just
you
the
is
bottom line.
You're like, you've been here, you've had a chance.
Yes.
Well, for me, the very first time I ever heard the name Kamala Harris, it was in association to locking up parents for truancy. That was the first time I ever heard of her name. And I really didn't understand how this person claims to be a black woman, but yet she's locking up black women and black men and separating families.
This is the thing that is, Trump talks about this a lot. He says, you know, Kamala Harris became black when it was convenient.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me about, do you agree with him on that? Do you feel like she's wearing her blackness?
Absolutely. When she sworn to the Senate, it was as the first Indian American.
Thank you.
Which is, it's fine. We don't care.
We all know she's not black. Let's understand that. We are all clear of that. But my point of view, and like I told you earlier, she's already been there. She's in office right now.
So imagine that. Imagine hearing that from other Black people. You don't have the personality to be president, and the person that they're voting for or supporting is Donald Trump, a person that is a adjudicated rapist. I don't want to say the word, but adjudicated. He's been found guilty of it. He's a 34 count convicted felon. He's a person that has said, grab a woman by the you know what, talking about a 10-year-old girl when she was going up the escalator. He's going to be dating her soon. Went behind his wife's back and slept with a porn star after a week or two after she had her baby for him. But Kamala doesn't have the personality. And then we're going to talk about Putin, how she's not going to be able to stand up to Putin because Putin is so strong. Well, what in the hell is Donald Trump doing right now? Putin is running circles around him right now. He tweeted, "Putin, stop," one time on the internet. Putin was probably on the floor laughing. He's trying to do diplomacy with Vladimir Putin on Twitter. She wanted this girl talking about she wants somebody who's manly. When Kamala Harris was the district attorney of the San Francisco area, she was the U.S. The California Attorney General. What has Donald Trump ever done other than break the law? Toughness. You're going to call toughness. And then this other lady going to talk about she don't have the qualifications. Well, she has a law degree. She graduated from one of the most prestigious HBCUs in the nation, Howard University. Experience? Okay, let's talk about experience for 1 second. She was the district attorney of San Francisco. She was the attorney general of California. She was a U.S. Senator of the state of California and vice president for 4 years. But they all try to talk this crap about what did she do when she was vice president. But guess what? The vice president doesn't have any power. What did George Bush do as vice president when he was vice president under Ronald Reagan, the Bush senior? What did Joe Biden do as vice president under Barack Obama? All of those decisions was made by Barack Obama. What did Mike Pence do under Donald Trump as vice president? You can't tell me one thing that you remember Mike Pence putting into motion, because Donald Trump was the president and called all the shots. One thing Mike Pence did was run for his life when Donald Trump sent those MAGA savages after him on January 6th to try to kill him, saying, hang Mike Pence. But I'm going to play a little clip right after this. Right now, I'm going to play a little clip to let you see Kamala Harris's qualifications, since this one lady going to say she's not qualified. Watch this clip.
After a lot of speculation, it's finally official. Kamala Harris is Joe Biden's running mate. So how did the senator go from prosecutor to vice presidential candidate? Let's rewind to 1964. Harris was born in Oakland, California to immigrant parents. Her father was from Jamaica and taught at Stanford. Her mother moved from India, later becoming a scientist and activist.
My mother was the toughest, the smartest, and the most loving person I've ever known.
Fast forward to the 80s, Harris studied poli-sci and economics at Howard University. She later got her law degree at UC Hastings. Her career kicked off in 1990 as a deputy district attorney in Alameda County.
Of course, I decided to become a prosecutor because I felt, I felt a very, and I still feel a very strong sense of responsibility to protect those who are vulnerable.
By 2004, Harris had won her first election, DA of San Francisco. There, she crafted a prisoner reentry initiative while also launching a controversial program that prosecuted parents who let their kids regularly skip school. Harris also raised her city's conviction rate, eventually leading to blowback that she was too tough on crime, particularly in communities of color.
It is a myth to say that African Americans don't want law enforcement. We do. What we don't want is racial profiling. What we don't want is excessive force. That's right. What we don't want is to have our civil liberties and civil rights be stripped.
In 2014, Harris married lawyer Doug Emhoff and became stepmom, or Mamala, to his 2 kids. This was around the time she announced her Senate campaign. She won the race the same night Trump became president-elect. And yet again, she made history. Not only is she the first Indian American senator, but she's also one of the 2 black women ever elected to the Senate.
I could not be more proud to represent my beautiful state.
Harris wrote bills with senators across the aisle, focusing on things like bail reform and immigration. She also became known for her ability to grill witnesses.
Is that policy in writing somewhere?
I think so.
So did you not consult it before you came before this committee, knowing we would ask you questions about it?
Well, we talked about it. The policy is
Did
based...
you ask that it would be shown to you?
So there you have it. The media put Kamala Harris's experience and education and all of her qualifications on display there. But back to that other clip right before that, where they're talking about she became black. I want to say something directly to those fools, what they are. Her father was a black man raised up in Jamaica. If you don't know, their ancestors came from the same place our ancestors came from. They were just taken off the ship short of American shores in Jamaica and in Haiti. They are the same ancestry that we have, her father had. So that makes her a black woman, along with being an Indian woman. And her mother is not an India black. She's from the West Indies. Look it up. Is a difference. This is really sad to see black people doing this to one another. And they can care less what the so-called racist white man think about what they're doing. They're sitting back laughing in your faces, you fools. And yeah, I'm irritated at people like this. This is why we have Donald Trump in office right now, because of these people right here that doesn't do their research, doesn't know anything about what they're talking about. Talking about she's not black. This is ridiculous. Donald Trump did the same thing to Barack Obama, asking for his birth certificate. When have you ever heard anybody asking for a white candidate who's running for president asking for his birth certificate? A lot of them wasn't born, their ancestors and their parents or grandparents wasn't born in America. So why do you do it to black? It always comes up when a black person want to run for office, they're going to question our nationality or our history, or they're not from here, or they're not qualified. I'm sorry, but I am really irritated with this. I'm going to give you another clip because I don't want to keep this video too long. I'm going to give you one more clip on some of the stuff the Trump administration is already doing to erase our history. And I wish this video can get back to those people that we're watching in Philadelphia in that barbershop that was talking all of this talk about Kamala Harris and how they're going to be voting for Donald Trump and all of the stuff that they were saying that why they were voting for him. Look at this clip right here to see just a small sample of some of the things he's doing to erase our history of this country, trying to erase it. Watch this.
February marks the beginning of Black History Month, and it comes as the White House is dismantling diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts within the federal government. Fox 9's Leon Purvis is live in the newsroom. And Leon, here in Minnesota, that's sparking some harsh criticism.
Nathan, that's right. The people I spoke with believe education and celebration of Black History Month must go on. They aren't surprised by this move, but they believe now is the time for their stories to be told.
So racism is when people treat you differently because you're black or white. So for me, this does not do anything except make me double down on my commitment to teach it to my children.
Martin Luther King Jr. was born in 1929 in Georgia.
Shaletta Brundage is taking action into her own hands to teach her children about Black History Month.
Abolitionists and women's rights activists
after recent national efforts to undermine diversity, equity, and inclusion. On Friday, President Trump signed a proclamation recognizing Black History Month, but in the same breath, his own Department of Defense declared Identity Month's dead at DOD.
But they can keep their little money. They can keep their pocket change. And then watch us show out and show up and create new ways of sharing what is important to our culture.
The Trump administration says its rollbacks of DEI is because he believes it threatens merit-based hiring, promotion, and educational opportunities.
If that was the case, we'd have more black CEOs. This country has never been fair. This country enslaved people. This country doesn't want to teach you your history.
It's a conversation that's made its way to major corporations.
If you're a CEO of an organization and you are in charge, you need to communicate clearly to your leadership all the way down what values you stand for.
Another thing on hold in the federal workplace are employee networking groups. That's why Shaletta is taking things into her own hands and put together a Black Entrepreneur Day at the state capitol on Monday. Live in the newsroom, Leon Purvis, Fox 9.
That right there was just a small sample of what this racist Trump administration is doing to us. People that look like me and look like those that are sitting in that barbershop talking bad about their sister, Kamala, in favor of a racist like Trump. There's too much for me to put into this video, so most likely I'm probably going to be doing another video on this topic, because I haven't even touched on them removing the Supreme Court, the right-wing Republican-led Supreme Court removing affirmative action. But guess what they didn't remove at the same time? legacy admissions. You know what legacy admissions is? And I'm talking to y'all in that barbershop because you probably don't know. Legacy admissions is if your parent or grandparent attended a school, you get special privilege. You get jumped to the front of the line to get into that school. But your Clarence Thomas, Republican, Trump-supporting black man went along with them on the Supreme Court to remove affirmative action, as if everything is so equal. Not right now. They also have been removing nearly all, I'm not going to say nearly, removing all of the pictures around the White House of black people and their history. Yes, that's right. They're removing your history from the White House. They stopped the teaching at the Air Force of the Tuskegee Airmen, which was the first African-American unit of pilots, fighter pilots in World War II. But you have people like Elon Musk, the South African apartheid baby, talking about DEI, and people like Charlie Kirk, who don't want to get on the airplane if there's a black person flying the plane. Well, these are passenger planes. They have autopilot. You can take off and land, but you have the plane on autopilot. But way back in the 1940s, you had black men flying fighter jets. But you're going to sit here and tell me that black people can't fly planes now? That's racist. Elon Musk, Mr. Nazi, salute him. Trying to erase our history. And I'm going to leave you with this. The Smithsonian Museum of African American History. I'm really irritated with this one because my band director from Southern University Human Jukebox Marching Band is one of the people honored in that museum, along with Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jordan, Rosa Parks, and a whole lot of other black people who made history in this country. So he done cut funding, and they're trying to remove all of that history out the African American Smithsonian Museum. So what do y'all have to say about that? Donald Trump is in office now. He's not running for office anymore, so he don't need your vote. He can care less about you. So I'm here to tell you that you've been played. And you must be, y'all from the hood like everybody else. You know what being played means. And there's a whole lot more to come because we are only 3 or 4 months into his presidency, so you can get ready for it. I'm going to play one last clip, and I'm not going to even come back with any more commentary. I'm just going to let the video end there. I'm going to play one clip of Donald Trump and what he was doing to Barack Obama while this man was running for president and being president. And I'm going to leave you with that. And I thank you guys for tuning in. I will be doing another video on this because there's too much left that I'm leaving out. But I appreciate you. Like and subscribe. If you like this video, it'll get to some other people. And maybe if enough people like this video and subscribe, maybe it'll get back to those people that was in that barbershop. Maybe it'll get back to them. Let's see if we can get that done. Thanks again. I appreciate you.
President Barack Obama was born in the United States, period.
Are you a birther,
Well,
Donald?
Okay, let me just tell you, I was a really good student at the best school. I'm not like a smart guy, okay? They make these birthers into the worst idiots. Why doesn't he show his birth certificate?
3 weeks ago when I started, I thought he was probably born in this country. And now I really have a much bigger doubt than I did before. He doesn't have a birth certificate, or he hasn't shown it. He has what's called a certificate of live birth. A certificate of live birth is not even signed by anybody.
I still question that he was born in the United States, do you?
I had no idea.
You don't believe him?
I would. I'd love to believe him. You know what? I'll tell you what. I think he'd do a great service.
Even at this point?
Well, I don't know. Was there a birth certificate? You tell me.
A few years ago, you
led the birther movement. You sent investigators out to Hawaii to find out whether or not Obama, which you said was not born here.
Well,
and it turned out to not be true.
Well,
so
I don't know. According to you, it's not true. I don't know.
He released his birth certificate.
You know, if you believe that, that's fine. I don't care. It's an old subject.
Is Donald Trump honest when he says that Barack Obama isn't a legitimate president?
So I knew you were going to ask that question.
Well, because
and
he's
you know what I'll
president of the
say?
United States.
I don't talk about that anymore.
So we will have a big statement, and I hope you're going to be watching.
I'm definitely going to be watching, but the bottom line is this. We know that Obama now, he was born in America, correct?
You watch my statement. We have to keep the suspense going, okay?
President Barack Obama was born in the United States, period.
I ask you guys to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thank you.